Unsolved Mysteries Rewind is a commercial-free podcast that focuses on cases featured on the television show Unsolved Mysteries with Robert Stack. Each episode features a single case and, if possible, updates and an expansion on the original story. Listener discretion is advised for listeners who are sensitive to true crime details.
Tonight on Unsolved Mysteries Rewind, two friends get together to discuss episodes of their favorite television show, Unsolved Mysteries. Will they find answers? Will anyone care? You may be able to solve a mystery.
Hello, this is Mark, and you are listening to Unsolved Mysteries Rewind. I have on the show, returning for yet another deep dive into a case, Laura. How are you doing, Laura?
Well, Mark, how are you doing?
I'm doing great. I say, how are you doing? And you say, how are you going, right?
That's right. Yeah. I don't think we say, how are you doing? Unless we're referring to the friends, Joey, how you doing?
Oh, yeah, how you doing?
Yeah,
I forgot about that guy. That's a 90s show I never watched. I've seen maybe 4 episodes, but people love it.
I'm glad I'm not alone. I'm in that. I'm more of a Seinfeld fan. People don't hate me, but I'm much more of a Seinfeld fan.
No, I love Seinfeld. I still watch Seinfeld. I think it's
so do I.
It's a great show. So today we're talking about the mysterious case involving Gloria Ross and Candy Belt.
Yes.
The two
also
sex
known as
workers.
Bordello.
Go on. Sorry.
Yeah, no, sorry. Also known as the Bordello murders.
Yeah, Bordello murders. That's, I guess, I don't know who coined that term. I don't know if that was Unsolved Mysteries.
I don't know, but I have the box set from I think I bought it back in 2006, and back then it was very reasonably priced for as many episodes that you get.
Right.
And one of them featured, they all had titles, and this one was featured and it said Bordello murders. So I kind of went with that. So yeah.
I mean, essentially where they worked was a bordello, and Gloria and Candy were sex workers, and this happened in Kentucky.
Yes, Oak Grove, Kentucky.
Yeah, I've never been to Kentucky, so I went on Google Maps and I kind of explored the area a little bit. Like, I can just kind of click around, and there's a lot of military stuff there because we're right around the block practically from a military base.
Yeah, exactly. It was, and the bordello was right across the street initially, from the actual Fort Campbell. So, the unfortunate murder of Gloria Ann Ross and her name was Candida Darlene Belt, aka Candy, happened on the 20th of September 1994, and it was featured, it was season 10, episode 4 of Unsolved Mysteries. Now, when I first did my research, it said that the episode first aired 17th of April 1998, but then other websites claim November 17th, 1997.
Yeah, that's always wrong. You can never get a solid airing for Unsolved Mysteries, and I'm not really sure why. I know that they've also changed a lot of episodes as time has gone on. Gone back and re-edited and re-aired.
Yeah, I mean, maybe maybe it was the 17th of April, I don't know, in Australia, and maybe it was 17th of November in in America. I don't know.
Totally possible. Now it's you looked it up, and Oak Grove is a home rule class city, which I'm not really sure what rule class means.
I was hoping you would know, Mark.
I don't know. I've never heard of it, to be honest with you. But it's adjacent, as you mentioned before, the Fort Campbell Army Base. Now, that's a huge Army base, by the way. I looked into it, and I believe they have over 10,000 people who are living on that base or are participating in the Army there. Population in Oak Grove at the time of this murder, these two murders, was about 3,000. But the current 2010 census brings us to nearly 7,500.
So
Still a
it
small
has
town, though.
Yeah, it was very very small. I mean, and then there was like a sort of like it's like sort of based nearly on a freeway, and then there's like a strip mall of shops and things like that. And then of course there was the military base and the Bordello. So obviously the Bordello was its main clientele was the army at the soldiers at the base. So and then of course there were some regular customers who come in who lived in the area as well. So and it's part.
Oh,
yeah, sorry.
Go on. No, go on. It's part.
I was just going to say it's part of Oak Grove is part of the Clarksville, Tennessee metropolitan.
Yeah, I mean, so it's really close to Tennessee, which is interesting. It's like right on the border. Now, one of the things I kind of came across is that it was right near. I mean, there are several bordellos. There are several other, I guess, massage parlors, whatever you want to call them, places that, you know, have a similar type of service. And the way that I left this segment when I first saw it with Unsolved Mysteries, I don't know, I felt like it was the only one in town.
That's the feeling I got as well. Yeah.
But there were at least 4 others. I have it here in our notes somewhere. I just can't find it. Our notes have blown up to 11 pages.
Wow.
Here we are. These are some of the names. It's on the very bottom. New Life Massage Parlor, which is the one that Gloria and Candy worked in, competed for Soldiers Entertainment dollars along with Fantasy Lingerie, Donna's Den, Tipper's Dance Club, Mona's Go-Go, Cat West, and Classic Touch.
I have to laugh at some of those names.
Yeah, I know, you have to. The charge for various sexual services range from $45 to $125.
Wow.
Yeah. And the Poplars, which would be the people who own the New Life Massage Parlor, would keep half of the cost. So them just having the facility, they get 50%.
Yes. Yeah. And it was run, the New Life Massage Parlor was run by Tammy Papler, and I think her husband's name was Robert Papler. So yes, they ran the New Life Massage Parlor. So I guess you could say that Tammy Papler was in essence the madam.
Yeah. I mean, but we also learned well, I guess we'll get to it, but there might have been another madam, which gets mentioned in certain articles, and that person kind of comes to light in an interesting way. But we do learn that both Gloria and Candy both had 2 children, although Gloria, they only talk about 1 child in the segment.
Yeah. Yes, in the segment it only said that so Gloria Ross was only 18, so we assume if this happened in 1994, we assume she was either born in 75 or 76. And they said that she had been married for less than a year to her husband Ryan Ross, who was a Fort Campbell soldier, and had a 6-week-old daughter. But I actually found in another article that she actually had, I think, a son as well.
Interesting. And being only 18, of course, that has to be tough. That has to be tough. And also, she's back at work after only 6 weeks after giving birth to a child. And I just think that's really, really crazy.
Yeah. I mean, they must have really, obviously, unfortunately, been struggling for money. And, it's just hard to leave your poor baby, with babysitter.
Yeah, I'm wondering who's with the baby. Babies, there's 2 children for both of these women.
Yes. You've got to wonder. I mean, so Candy Belt was 22, so born in 1972, and she was actually a single mother, which I guess obviously, so no husband or partner to look after the children, and she was working to support 2 children. And I found that she had 2 sons. Candy's eldest son, Christopher Belt, was born in 1989, same year as me, and her second son, Michael Janelle Davis, was born in the summer of 1994. So basically, it was only a few months old when the murders occurred. So they both had such young children. It's so sad.
Yeah, it really is. And it also seemed as though, although this is a very dangerous profession to be in, it didn't seem to have it didn't seem dangerous. Like, it seemed like it was protected.
Yes, I have to say in the segment, I felt like Tammy Papler ran a hard ship. Like as in,
she really, I know what you mean. Like, she kind of really took care of the girls. Like, she wouldn't let like anybody like really mess with them.
Yes, and obviously she had her husband as backup and things, and she obviously made sure they were all safe, and like as in, when they were servicing clients and things like that, which we'll get to. But yeah, she seemed like, and obviously in these segments, she obviously seemed very passionate about wanting to expose the corruption and also find the killers. So obviously she did care. She was just probably, I would say, a tough businesswoman.
Yeah, she's definitely a tough businesswoman, and that comes later when we realize that after the murder, she would reopen in a pretty quick amount of time. But I guess we'll discuss that when we get there.
Oh, yeah. I was really surprised, but anyway.
Yeah, me too. I guess business is business, But
exactly.
But on 4 a.m. on the morning of September 20th, 1994, two of the co-workers came in and they found that they were shot and stabbed to death in the back room.
Yes.
Yeah, it's really a huge shame. When the county sheriff major of the Christian County Police Department, Billy Gloyd, arrived at the scene, he discovered that it had been terribly compromised. Tammy and the other employees claimed that the police were threatening them if they did not allow the officers to do what they wanted. So I guess they just had free reign of the area. They were like, we can do whatever we want. And I guess, what do you say? I mean, they're officers and you just work there. So, I mean, what do you... these are the people supposedly who are there to protect you.
Yes.
Who are you to tell them,
Yeah, they're obviously taking their high authority for granted, getting what they could out of, Tammy and the girls. And so Tammy and the employees believe that one of the officers, in particular, Ed Carter, is responsible for the murders, which we'll get to.
Do you think they believed it at that point? Like, you think it was like an immediate belief?
I think, well, number one, they were probably very initially shocked because that would be the first thing that, thinks in that, oh my goodness, two of our co-workers are dead. But I think once probably they started adding things up and Ed Carter's behavior and the fact that he was always there, he was obviously high on the list of potential suspects, I'd say.
Well,
definitely.
Things get weird right away, right? Because who is the lead investigator of the case?
Leslie Duncan.
Who's Leslie Duncan?
He's Ed Carter's former roommate.
Unbelievable. Immediately, there is a conflict of interest.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Oh, my God.
It was, yeah. You think, well, that's already shady. They obviously knew each other before, and if the girls and Tammy and that are believing that there's been some odd behavior going on, obviously, and they were, Carter and Duncan were former roommates, obviously they're in cahoots together, so...
Yeah, so we'd learned that the official name of the place was the New Life Fitness and Massage. They opened in 1992, and they kept their lights on. I didn't see this anywhere else, but you found it written that they kept their lights on 24 hours a day, and they would close from 5 to 9. But we're not sure if it's AM or PM. What do you think?
Yeah,
I bet it's AM.
I think it is AM. I would say they're probably only closed for 4 hours while they, maybe
mop
have a nap.
Yeah,
I was gonna say that, but you took it there, so I'm glad you did.
God.
But yeah, pretty much to clean up. And also the officers would be, I don't know, if they're not doing their whatever they do there, they're probably had a bit of time during the day and maybe hop over to get a massage.
Yeah, a massage, sure. Or get some fitness.
Yeah, a bit of ab work, yeah.
So what I think is that, were you able to find a location for this place?
For the actual...
Yeah, for New Life Fitness and Massage.
No, not
either.
Really.
I couldn't find an address.
Yes, neither could I.
All I found is that it became a Chinese food place. But then I read that it was a Chinese food place from the beginning, and all they were doing was renting out a room behind the Chinese food place.
I did read that as well. And then I'm like, well, don't you think it would be bigger than that, because of course when they were describing, which we'll get to, how the bodies were found and things, obviously it's in a back room and they had to go through all these other rooms to look to see if anybody was there, and it seemed to be obviously bigger than one room. So sorry, go ahead.
No, I was going to say, one of the things I found so interesting about all of this is how young everybody is, right? Including Tammy, who at the time is only 26 years old, and she's running the place.
Yes. I mean, I'm nearly 33, so I'd be a veteran there. Yeah, I'd be the grandmother.
You'd be the old lady. You'd have like the draped, like what would you wear? You'd have one of these kind of like crazy ornate outfits as the madam.
Yeah. With like, that really old fashioned sort of head, like, what is it, the head piece that the old actresses used to wear.
I don't know.
Oh gee. But basically, yes, I couldn't find actual address, but everyone knew that obviously the New Life Massage was actually a brothel, and it obviously said, like we said, sat right outside across the road from the Fort Campbell, it was one of the nation's largest army posts. And yes, as we said, sits on the Kentucky-Tennessee border, and its clientels were paratroopers, truckers, locals of the strip malls. Some say judges and other dignitaries would come up discreetly from Nashville to visit as well. And it was run, like you said, by young 26-year-old Tammy Papler.
I think it's really interesting to wonder. So we do know that there were at least another 5 brothels. Do you think that there was money given by all of them?
Well, I can't prove this, but I thought that they seem to be doing quite well, obviously. So I'm guessing maybe it was one of the best out of all of them.
Oh, that's interesting. Yeah, I didn't think of that.
It could have been like, I don't know, I'm just going to say either the cleanest, the most reasonable rates, maybe, I don't know, even to go so far as saying the hottest girls, whatever the guys want, maybe they did more services, maybe, or maybe the police officer just felt they could take advantage more of Tammy because of her age, maybe.
See, I was thinking a little bit of the opposite. I was thinking maybe the other ones did better but wouldn't take crap from the police officers who were saying, like, you better give us money. And they were like, screw off. And then they're like, well, we can push around Tammy maybe because she's only 26. I don't know.
They really need the business.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, that's what I was thinking. But I mean, I have no proof of this.
That is so true. That's a very good angle as well. I like that.
Now,
very could be.
What was Tammy's madam name? I thought it was hilarious.
Oh, okay. We ready for this?
Yeah.
Mercedes.
But we also get another mention that there were madams, plural. So the other name that was given was Harley. So Mercedes and Harley.
Yes. So Harley, as we will find out, we'll mention, but turned out to be a lady called Patty Ballou,
who we will discuss in depth in a little bit.
We will, yeah. But obviously at the moment, Tammy's the main person that we are talking about. So she had picked the location for the massage place in Fort Campbell, obviously for the array of potential workers, mostly women, far from their families and perhaps needed the quick income, and obviously for the clientele as well. She was quick-tempered, but very fair with the girls. And
what did you mean about her hair? You said Tammy's hair was a blonde permanent.
Oh, that was a quote from the research. And I thought, I reckon that does mean that she had a permanent blonde in. So I'm thinking maybe she was actually like maybe a brunette, and maybe she just
like she had bleached blonde hair.
Yeah, bleached blonde. Yeah.
Okay.
Well, in the segment she was blonde. So
I never heard of it put like that. I thought that was an Australian thing.
No. I mean, maybe it's the same as what we said before. What a home rule class city, whatever that means.
Yeah, right. I don't know. I think somebody from like another country wrote all of this. Like,
yeah, I was hoping you'd know, but that's okay. We'll say she's bleach blonde and she liked it that way.
It was the style, I guess, in the early 90s in Kentucky.
Yes, the style at the time. Yes.
But the area really wasn't much of a city. It was I mean, even now, if you go on Google Earth, you go on like Street View, you see there's not much there. And there's a lot of strip malls and trailer parks. Now, you wrote, and you're probably quoting clapboard housing. It's another thing
Yes.
I don't know what that is.
Okay, so I looked it up.
I'm looking it up right now.
Basically, it's known as horizontal wooded. So basically, it's like a wooded house. So like, those long beams of obviously wood. So wooden houses, basically. I think more so you'd find them at like the beach, I guess. Or if you live near the beach. I mean, where I live, there's a nice place called Victor Harbour, which is like a 2-hour drive. It's where my grandfather used to live. And there's a lot of like wooded houses.
These are
obviously
nice.
not on the beach,
These are actually, it looks, I mean, I guess it could look bad, but it looks nice.
Yeah, I thought it was all right. Yeah, and I'm thinking, what the heck is clapboard? But yeah, so horizontal wooded housing. And of course, if we weren't in a house, you were obviously in a trailer park. So the main stretch of highway, which was right near the Fort Campbell and the massage parlor, was lined with liquor stores, pawn shops, and other adult businesses. And the business cycle at New Life, obviously, like we said before, largely depended on the military's paydays. Yeah. So, hey, Tuesday's a payday. We're going to get a lot of people in today.
Right. I mean, that's literally it. It's like we know we're going to have a busy day.
Senior Citizens Tuesday or something.
Oh, my God. That's gross.
Sorry.
So Ed Carter is the person that in the Unsolved Mysteries segment is the African-American police officer who they're basically just, I mean, the only thing missing from Unsolved Mysteries is a finger pointing right at him, right?
Yeah, well, my finger was pointed at him when I watched it the whole time.
Me too. I mean, and I think that was the intention of the segment.
Oh, completely.
I mean,
we're so going to get to that.
But you found out that he grew up on a farm. His father worked there for an influential white family. Not really sure what that means. And,
well, sorry, they did actually. They did say, I didn't actually want to sort of include it, but they said yes. So his father worked for an influential white family, and in brackets, what I read was Ed Carter was. Okay, I'm quoting here. Ed Carter was black. Mm-hmm. That's what it said. Obviously. African American is what we say.
Sure. Yeah. Black, African American, I think they're both acceptable.
Yeah. So I was going to say that's just what the article said. So I just put his father worked for an influential white family, and his mother cleaned houses and churches for extra income as well. So at the time of this murder, he was only 24 years old. So again, quite young. Mm-hmm. He dropped out of community college and then was recruited into the Police Explorers, which is an apprenticeship program for youths who want to work in law enforcement. And he graduated with minimal training and didn't need any instruction to push people around. And if you actually see photos of him in the segment, he does look like a real sort of burly guy, good as a bouncer. He'd probably scare me, and he basically obviously felt like he was intimidating, and he believed that wearing a badge meant he could pick up women easier.
Which might have been somewhat true when people are afraid of you, and it's like you're going into like brothels.
Very true, very true.
Now,
And
did you find a photograph of Ed Carter? Because I couldn't find one.
Well, what I could do, I mean, we literally could screenshot from the segment because they do show.
They do have one in the segment. I guess I forgot about that.
Yeah. Do you want me to find it?
It's fine. I'm fine.
Well, I'll tell you what. I can find it, and then we can use it if we need it.
Okay.
But yeah, so basically, he looks, and there's also a picture of Leslie Duncan as well, who again looks like he's a police officer. But Ed Carter was he looked tall, he looked muscly, like he's kind of a biggish guy, and I guess you'd say, definitely intimidating if you were, picked up for speeding or you were a sex worker. But
I find it interesting that he's a police officer, but he's like a town police officer. It's not like he's a state law enforcement officer. It's not like he went to boot camp and went through like really kind of rugged like training that a lot of police officers would normally have to go through. It sounds like he kind of He was more of just a local
kind of fluffed
cop.
his way through.
And maybe they still have that, type of thing in smaller towns.
I was just about to ask you actually if they do over in America. Not that you're from, really from a small town, but I guess it depends. I mean,
We have county police.
Yes.
And then they have village police. But these are all really trained officers. These aren't, rent-a-cops.
And small towns don't usually have a lot. I mean, some small towns have a large amount of crime, but some mostly you call them forgotten small towns have, barely any crime. So, I mean, there's a few places that don't even have like a police. They have one sheriff or something, and it's or a couple of police officers. I think it was another case, actually, I did see on Unsolved Mysteries, the murder of police chief.
Well, they had to have some crime if they made it to Unsolved Mysteries.
Yeah, and it was J.B. Hamby, I think it was.
Oh, that name is super familiar. Yeah.
Yes, and he was the only police officer. I can't remember the city or the town.
Mm-hmm.
But, he was like the only police officer.
That's crazy.
Yeah, so...
There's a movie called Copland. You probably never saw it. But it's a movie with Sylvester Stallone, of all people. And it's kind of an independent film, maybe 1999. And it's really worth seeing, but it's called Copland. And it's about this small town, just like this, where it's a town that's close enough to Manhattan, where all of these NYPD officers live there. And the officers that are in Copland are like small town cops. And basically they get pushed around by the NYPD officers, the New York Police Department. And it's a really interesting thing because it's like the city police own the town and they push around the police officers for this little town. And it's a really interesting movie.
Okay. Yeah, no, that does sound interesting. I mean, having said that, though, I'm sure there are some small towns where, I mean, we're not just because it seems to say that Ed Carter, graduated with minimal training. That doesn't mean that every small town has inept cops.
No.
Obviously that's not what we're implying, but it did seem kind of like to me that he had very much abused his power and that he didn't know what he wanted to do with his life, and he just sort of joined law enforcement and then kind of liked the intimidation factor of it. So
right, and apparently he didn't make too much money because we learned that part of the thing that he was relying on is to kind of force some more money out of them by putting him on the payroll.
Yes, so
crazy.
that's exactly right, which we'll get to. So obviously he, classy guy. He liked to pick up women, and even though he married a lady called Carol Moore in 1992, he obviously cheated on her quite a bit, from what I've read in articles.
Seemed like it was open too. Like it seemed like it was no surprise to her. Anyway.
Yeah, she was. She kind of made me laugh on the segment. She was just like, I'm just going to tell it for what it is.
Right. I mean, she really kind of turned on him pretty quickly.
Yeah, I guess divorce will do that.
Yeah, I guess so. It's pretty crazy. But we learned that the cops got very cozy. Actually, before that, do you want to talk about the Buddy Elliott, the police chief? That'd be interesting.
Yes. Well, yeah. So I wasn't sure if I should include it, but it kind of is a good example just to show what Oak Grove was dealing with, Yeah,
definitely.
So the Oak Grove Police Department had only 6 officers and was known for its corruption. So then in itself is a big statement. So here's an example. Buddy Elliott, the police chief, was the older brother of the mayor, Jack Elliott, and both had a major share of the local real estate. And
I'm wondering what that means exactly. I'm like, how much real estate do you think they really owned?
Well, maybe everything that wasn't Fort Campbell.
It's very possible. I mean, that's crazy. I mean, and that would also kind of wield a lot of power as well.
Oh, and I'm obviously, I think they obviously took advantage of that. But in 1993, so a year after New Life Massage Parlor opened, some of the workers were actually charged with prostitution. And Buddy Elliott went to Tammy Papler, the owner, and asked whether she'd, quote, get with the program, unquote. She then gave him $600 cash, sort of, I guess, as a bribe because she felt she had to. Yeah. And when the case reached a grand jury, all of a sudden, because they got the money, the charges were dropped.
That's crazy. Do you think, like, this is just the beginning of the kickback? Like, where basically you're going to get weekly money or monthly money?
Oh yeah, you know what? I'm thinking I'm starting to agree with your theory that I reckon because they were kind of a newer massage parlor, maybe you're right. Maybe it wasn't as popular, and the police were really thinking, well, let's milk them for all they've got because they haven't got much leverage.
And
I reckon
apparently
you're
there's
right.
a program because she has to get with it.
That's right. Mm-hmm.
And I guess everyone
program.
else is playing along. So I don't know. That's a crazy thing.
I mean, she looks like a strong woman, but I think it would still rub you the wrong way. You'd still be like, oh, what are we getting into?
Right. Like the whole thing. And you're being shaken down by cops of all people.
Yeah.
The police officers got very cozy at New Life. Some hung out in the lobby while off duty. I'm sorry. And they quote, they felt like they owned the place. They really did. One of the workers remembered the Oak Grove government didn't have that much tax revenue. So when patrol cars needed new lights, they blackmailed Tammy to pay for them. So
yes.
That's pretty crazy. I don't know. That just seems like a shady type of thing to do.
Oh, yes. And apparently in the segment, it also said, so they said lights, I think it was shoes, K9 T-shirts, Christmas parties, Christmas bonuses. Basically, they get whatever they want. Those 6 officers just ran the whole town, is what Tammy Papler said in the segment.
And Police Chief Milton Perry confirmed that Papler's assertion that she handed him $1,200 in cash in front of the town hall in late 1993. But the chief took the money to buy police equipment, but later conceded that all but $500 was spent on a Christmas dinner for his officers and their families. And this is a quote: "Even today, I don't think it was wrong. I wasn't being bribed, but was in the mood of the Christmas spirit."
Sorry.
Right? It's like, what?
Oh, it's like, could you repeat that, please?
Right. It's,
oh, my goodness.
Oh, it's just, just kind of, a present. A thank you for being good cops.
Gosh. For getting with the program, so.
But when the officers wanted to have sexual favors, and I'm sure they wanted plenty of them, they also expected Poplar to pay the workers for their time out of her own pocket.
So even more money from her, basically.
Right.
Yeah.
How much money are they talking about? I mean, it doesn't seem like they're a very wealthy town to begin with. I mean...
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I guess I'm going to say it. Guess why they... Yes, but also, I guess that's why they have so many massage parlors, because they're probably the people that came from whatever town or they grew up there. Obviously, there wasn't many job prospects.
Right.
So,
right.
I'm just saying, so they try and get a bit of money.
Yeah, like, where do you work? There's nowhere to work.
Yeah. I mean, I doubt they had, they probably did have a McDonald's or something there, but.
Yeah, but where, yeah, like at the time, what is like minimum wage, like $7? It's like this 18-year-old girl can make like $1,000 a week. Or she can go, work at a McDonald's for a couple $100 a week. I feel really, basically like Tammy said, the whole town was run by these. Wait, did you call it McDonald's?
What did you say?
Did you call it McDonald's? I thought Aussies called it Maccers.
No, I call it McDonald's.
All right.
Well, I think some people call it Mackie D's, which I hate.
Mackie D's. We've called it Mickey D's.
Oh, yeah, maybe. Actually, it might be that. I can't even. See, that's how much I don't know. I call it McDonald's. But some people do say Macca's, and I probably have referred to that a few times. But to me, it's always McDonald's.
All right, good. Yeah, that's what we call it. And...
Just for the reference, just going to let you know. Just McDonald's.
It's McDonald's. I think it's the second time we brought this up. This episode is not brought to you by McDonald's.
No, although hash browns are pretty good, though.
I haven't eaten at McDonald's in 100 years. So
you know what? Neither have I, but they have amazing coffee there. I will say.
And apparently hash browns.
And hash browns. They do have good hash browns, yeah. I'm going to admit it. But I haven't eaten there in so long, so it could be different now. I don't know.
Tomorrow. That's where you'll be. Like, I need it now. Because you brought it up, and you're not going to be able to stop until you get those hash browns.
Get some Mickey D's.
Some Maccers. So...
Anyway.
Moving back to the early 90s with a lot of McDonald's commercials. I mean, they had a McDonald's. Probably. But do you want to talk about Carter spending more time at the brothel?
Yes. So Ed Carter was one of the main officers out of the 6 that was there, all the time, spent the most time there. And now this part is interesting. It said he began a steady affair with the manager.
Right. And I wanted to ask you about that. What manager?
Too. Exactly. Because I'm thinking the manager I assumed that's what I assumed. But obviously I wouldn't think Tammy.
No.
I mean, she didn't. I mean, I don't know. Would you admit that on an Unsolved Mystery segment anyway? But I would tend probably to think it was Harley, Patty Ballou. I would tend to think maybe before she was married or that. So yeah. So I don't know. I put it down and I thought, well, that's a bit of a discussion, but we'll go with Harley. But we can't prove it. And because Carter's police salary for his job was so low, he made Tammy put him on the payroll as a janitor. And what was even worse, which I thought was rude, he intended his own wife to do the work. So,
which is just crazy.
Money. So he probably kept the money and got the wife to, clean the toilets and stuff like that.
Well, I read somewhere that she didn't actually do any cleaning, but she would show up once in a while to make it look right.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I didn't read that. That
was somewhere. I don't even think I put it in the notes, but it wasn't, as far as I know, it was just on paper that he was the janitor and that she was to clean. But here's the thing is, she knows what's going on in this building, right?
Of course. I don't think she's an idiot.
And she knows her husband is spending a lot of time there, I'm assuming.
Oh, yeah. And also it's way more than the others. So, and
of course people talk, right?
Oh, yeah. It's a small town. You just can't get away. I mean, even Adelaide, like where I live, it's not the smallest town, but it's small. Everybody knows everyone. It's insane. So, you can't get away from it. So in a place that's only got like a military service and a few brothels, everyone's going to know everyone's business.
But Tammy said the payments were really for protection or hush money, not for mopping the floors, which we're bringing up mopping. But she was afraid that if she stopped, that the place would get shut down.
Yeah.
But this was interesting, too, that you found out she had an emergency dispatcher keeping guard. So is this somebody that maybe worked at, 911 or worked on the force? Who would...
I reckon... See, maybe she had connections. Maybe it was maybe it was emergency, maybe from the paramedics or something,
right.
Keeping guard. So basically, if she heard rumors or there was talk of another raid for the brothel, that the emergency dispatcher would kind of give them a call and sort of use a code phrase saying
a storm is coming,
or time to get the umbrellas out, so the workers could say, oh my goodness, we need to get dressed and look professional when we're not a massage parlor, we're not a bordello. So and I'm assuming when you asked raided by whom, obviously you could assume it was
or federal. I'm not sure.
Well, with what happened in 1993 with the Buddy Elliott, maybe they were scared of another, some of their workers getting charged with prostitution again, and then Tammy having to pay even more money to make it go away. So they're probably afraid of something like that happening again, maybe even making it even bigger this time. So maybe more money would have to be paid. So I guess they would just, but I think it was kind of clever of Tammy to do that. Kind of, she's trying to fight back, but she's also trying to keep people safe at the same time. So,
Yeah, it's all this kind of work that's going into doing this. It has to make you wonder, is it, I guess it was financially worth it. Now, over in Australia, prostitution is illegal, right?
Yes.
Now, it's illegal here mostly, but I'm pretty sure that there are spots of the United States where it is not illegal. I think Nevada? Not 100% sure.
Well, isn't it like marijuana? Marijuana's legal in Colorado, I think.
Well, actually, marijuana is legal right here now in New York.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought it was only... Oh, that might have changed. Actually, mind you, when I was in America, it was 2015. So
this is a year ago. Now it's legal for recreational marijuana. I'm just eating it by the fistful. No, I don't partake, but I guess I could legally. I think I can even have up to 2 pounds of pot or something. It's
Yeah.
just everybody's
Yeah.
smoking pot in New York. Like you're driving and it's like you just smell you smell weed everywhere, and it's hopefully
Well, that sounds like Adelaide, but it's not legal here.
well, you know what? It's always been like this, though. But,
Yeah, it's true. It's been like that everywhere, yeah.
But I think people are driving and smoking, which I think is not only illegal but very dangerous.
I get nervous even trying to change my radio station when I drive, so I don't even want to be talking about smoking.
Right. I'll be like totally paranoid while driving. It's like,
I'm already paranoid. I don't trust other drivers. They're terrible.
Yeah, I have to turn the radio down to just see where I'm driving.
Okay, that's not only me, thank gosh, because I am especially if I don't know necessarily I'm trying to find an address, I turn it off, or even like really down so that I can see. And I'm
sometimes I turn it down, but then my GPS gets turned down, and I'm like, what did she say?
Yeah. And when they don't get the street names right, I laugh.
Hey,
when they say it differently, how it's pronounced.
Did you do any driving when you were here?
I didn't know. No, I didn't. I was in a Kentucky bus, but I sat like right behind the driver a few times because I used to get bus sick, and yeah.
I don't mean to laugh. I'm just
No. I was pretty bad. But I just felt so weird driving on. Well,
that's what my question is, because we drive on the right hand side.
No, you drive on the wrong hand side. No, I'm joking.
You get the bell for that.
Dad joke.
All right.
Yeah, it is crazy. I felt weird. It felt weird, like to turn left. Obviously, I was like, hang on, you've got. It's like a right turn. I'm so confused. Like, yeah.
Yeah, it's like all mirror image. It's crazy.
But no, I think if I tried to drive, I don't think it would be good for anybody on the road. So I decided that.
You mean like normally?
Yeah, yeah.
I hate driving, but I'm always driving. But yeah, I mean it's but the way people drive in my town, you'd think they all just came here from Australia. They don't know what they're doing.
Well, I'd had to drive everywhere because where I grew up there was no public transport. So
there you go.
You either walked, which didn't get you very far, or you drove. So yes, a little.
So one of the things I thought was kind of an interesting little thing is that there have been times where the police would raid New Life. And they would find, quote, half a dozen women sitting around drinking milk dressed like they're going to Sunday school, which I thought is kind of funny. So they would they get called. They're like, all right, just sit around and act like you're doing absolutely nothing.
I guess if there's no evidence of it.
Yeah.
No?
I mean, you're not caught in the act. Hey, I'm just hanging out.
Yeah, we're just having a club meeting,
Yeah, but in the summer of in the summer of '94, Poplar cuts Carter off from the payments, and this is what's weird is like he had a key, and this becomes like another thing about the keys. But you make an excellent point. You're like, well, why don't you just change the locks?
Yeah.
How much is a lock? Like $30?
Exactly. I mean, she claims she couldn't keep him out permanently because he had a key and refused to return it. And it's like, well, I'm changing the lock straight away as I get that guy out of here.
Right. I mean, I don't know. I mean, it seems like the most. I mean, if you're spending hundreds of dollars, these people, I think you spent $30 to get a new lock. And we learned later that other people had keys to this place too.
Yeah. Oh, exactly. Yeah. Well, you'd assume, obviously, maybe Harley did. I think the girl that was there with Gloria and Candy that night before the incident, I think she didn't have a key. Sorry. No, she didn't.
Well, Gloria, I think, had a key.
I think so.
I found it somewhere. It's somewhere in these notes. It'll come up.
Yes.
But I just couldn't believe that there's so many keys floating around. And just seems kind of odd to me. Now, at the same time, what's really in this place it's probably just like, honestly, like some bedrooms, and it's the cash box that counts.
The massage tables, I guess. Couches, I would assume.
Milk.
Milk. Oh yeah, obviously.
A bunch of outfits, Sunday school outfits to put on real quick.
Oh, we got Britney Spears happening, So that's how I'm.
That's exactly it. Yeah.
Hit me, baby, one more time.
Oh boy.
But I mean,
we already did New Kids on the Block for you. I don't know if we can do a Britney Spears.
No, okay, fair enough. We draw the line now. But I will mention quickly I wouldn't say it's a specific incident, but one incident that really angered Tammy, I'll quickly sort of go over it. It was included in the segment. But one of the reasons why Tammy kicked Ed Carter out was he was apparently taking money from the business, and Tammy found out. So she came back from I think it was a trip to New York with her husband, and she came back and he was already dealing with the money in like where she usually sat at her desk. He was sitting there going through all the money, and she was like, how much money have you taken and how long's he been here? And the girl's like, ever since you've been gone. And, she's like, Tammy said, oh, it's like he's the madam. It's now I'm not the madam. It's like he is. And he was running the parlor. And so she kind of lost it and said, get the hell out.
Right.
You stay away. And she told the girls, don't let him in.
But I assumed he was already doing all this. I kind of had this in the way it's all described. He was kind of hanging out there all the time and he was working there.
Yes, but maybe he didn't really touch the money. Maybe he was trying to get money from as hush money and protection, like we said before, the payments that Tammy was giving. But maybe this was the first time she had caught him going through the money. Now, the girls probably, with Tammy being away, didn't want to question him.
Right. But who was running the place? There's a lot of weirdness. Yeah. Like, who is running the place? Is Harley running it at this point?
Well, actually, probably not, because I don't think by the time the murders happened, she was still working there.
So I think there's somebody else that is just not mentioned.
Could be. It could be like a second in charge person. That's what we call them. We call them 2 ICs here, second in charge. So when the manager's away, you get the next person down. But maybe she wasn't even, whoever this person is, maybe she wasn't even had the balls to say, what are you doing with the money? Because, she might not be backed up, or she might be scared of him, or didn't want to make it worse for Tammy when Tammy returned, that sort of thing.
But they also thought that it was that although he wasn't supposed to be there, obviously he's an authority figure. He has the badge, he has the gun. Yeah. So they just said, whatever, as long as I'm getting my money, I don't care, maybe.
Yeah, exactly. So it was but anyway, she lost her cool with that, which I'm not surprised. And again, why don't you change the locks? But,
But, I wrote down, what do people do in this little town? Ugh. Aside from, have sex with people for money, maybe go to bars,
Mickey D's,
go to Macca's and get a $1 special or something. It seems like there's no culture, there's nothing going on, there's nothing to do.
I mean, and again, I almost, like you said, it's not even like it was a city. I feel like it was one of those truck stops where you get off the highway and here's a couple of shops and the army base and the brothels. Oh, that's how that's pictured in my mind. I mean, obviously I could be wrong.
No, that's exactly what it looks like.
We're not having a go at people that live in Kentucky, by the way. But
I have no issue with Kentucky or Tennessee. I just think this is a very shady little area, though, especially in 1994.
Oh yeah. And I mean, it's just. Well, again, what do they do? I mean, how would you fill your time? I don't even know. I have no idea.
Well, could you talk about the timeline here? Because it doesn't make so much sense to me where he showed up at midnight and then again at 2:00.
Yes. So, all right. So we'll go to the actual night of the murders. So the early hours of 20th of September, 1994, it was a slow night. And now we've got another character that comes in here, another Tammy, but not Tammy Papler. It's a lady called Tammy Sneed. Sneed, yes.
Seems
24
like a
years
fake name.
old.
Yeah.
Yeah, she provided a detailed account of the night's events because she was there with another girl. And then there was also Gloria Ross and Candy Belt. So there was the 4 of them at the start of the night. And Sneed states that Gloria and Candy were pretty much new workers. So they'd only been there for maybe a couple of months, and they were close and they very close together, and they stayed to themselves. So they were quite quiet. And Tammy and her husband, I think his name was Robert, stopped by the parlor earlier in the evening to check on the workers, but they didn't stay long. And I think I read that Tammy had a headache, and that's why they didn't stay. But anyway, all agree that Ed Carter showed up just after midnight. And then he left, and then he came back at 2 a.m., like you said. He came in and picked up the lobby phone. He punched in some numbers, but didn't actually make a call. And the woman thought that this was strange, and they knew he wasn't supposed to be there, but they didn't say anything, and neither did he. And then he left. Now, they probably didn't want to say anything. 1, again, because Tammy wasn't there. 2, they were probably really intimidated by him. and was just hoping that he would just leave, which he did. So an hour later, so we're looking at about 3 o'clock, Tammy Sneed went to drop off their other colleague home, and leaving Ross and Belt alone at the parlour. Now, that's actually what's seen at the start of the segment on Unsolved Mysteries, where the girl's like, I'm going to take, I think her name was Sarah, home, and will you guys be okay? And they're like, yeah, we'll be fine. When Sneed returned at around 3:35, she went to go in the front door, but it wouldn't open. So she went to the back door, and as she had to really use force to push it open, she realized that a heavy rock had been tried to be wedged in the door to block it shut, but she managed to get in. And she said that Ross and Belt were nowhere in sight. She thought that they were, quote, cleaning or something, Tammy says. She then heard a snoring sound and concluded that they must be asleep because, again, like we said, it was a slow night. So
Right.
Also, I'm going to say a bit of a trigger warning here. It's not very nice.
Yeah, this is a very visual, it is very, very descriptive scene coming up.
Yeah, so if you don't really want to hear it, then
you shouldn't be listening to this podcast, really. Anyway.
Yeah, true. But so maybe just go a couple of minutes ahead. But basically, so heard the snoring sound, and when Tammy Sneed opened the door of a certain room at the end of the corridor, the room was dark except for a light over the massage table where Gloria Ross's body lay. She was stripped nude, with her hands folded across her chest and her mouth and her eyes open, so obviously clearly deceased. Dark blood bubbled from a bullet hole in her head and a stab wound in her neck.
Now that was crazy to me when I read that.
It's overkill. It's definitely overkill. I mean, one or the other's pretty much going to kill you and render you unable to fight back anyway.
Yeah.
But both is pretty full on. On the floor of the same room nearby, Candy Belt was, her body was kind of draped with a camouflage blanket. But the folds of the fabric were actually rising with the motion of her chest. So now this wasn't included in the segment, but she was actually still alive. So she too had been shot in the head, and one of her eyeballs was bulging from its socket. So
I mean, what do you think happened there from shooting her in the head, I guess?
I think the angle might have, maybe the bullet came out her eye.
Oh my God.
Or maybe the force of it actually, because in
essence, there's so many bones and it's just terrible. But what is the snoring sound that they were hearing?
Yeah, the snoring sound that Tammy Sneed heard was actually the sound of blood gurgling in Candy Belt's throat as she was trying to breathe.
Oh my God.
So that, like I said, when I read that, I had no idea, because in the segment, they wheeled out two bodies on gurneys with blanket over them. So you would assume that both had unfortunately been killed at the time in the parlor.
You have to just hope that the person was brain dead, right? I mean, it's horrible.
You would assume. So she can breathe on her own, but she'd need machines to do everything else if that was it. I mean, we don't know. We're not doctors, but sometimes people do get shot in the head and they actually do obviously have to relearn to do certain things, but they do survive, which, I mean, is like a miracle. But you would assume that, it's a very dire situation. I don't know why they didn't include that on the segment. Maybe they felt it wasn't relevant, but I don't know. The more information you put in, but I guess they have to stick to a time limit. So,
Sneed ran to the Fort Campbell gates. How close are the gates?
Apparently very, just across the road.
I mean, that's crazy. I mean, if you really, I missed this factoid, so we should really find out where the Fort Campbell gates are.
I'm sure there are a few gates, but I didn't.
Not on the border.
Oh, true. Yes. So a soldier then let Tammy Sneed in to call the Oak Grove police and the paramedics. But I actually read that initially the soldier was reluctant to let her in.
Mm-hmm.
I did read that. Obviously, she would have been really hysterical. But I don't know. Maybe he had some sort of rules that, you're not allowed to obviously just let a civilian in.
Yeah, of course.
But obviously, if she's that distraught, let her in and make a phone call. We didn't have mobile phones. If this was 2022 and this occurred, take out your phone. But, obviously that wasn't the case in 94. So 2 police officers arrived. They actually came from different directions, so they weren't just at the station or whatever. And they arrived at New Life around 4 a.m. and They obviously looked around, made sure the killer wasn't still inside the parlor. They pronounced Gloria Ross dead at the scene, and obviously Candy Belt was miraculously still alive. They then radioed for Leslie Duncan, the chief investigator, who we said before was Ed Carter's former roommate. So this was the department's only detective, and he helped the paramedics get Candy Belt into the ambulance. Duncan then called for backup from the Christian County Sheriff's Office, and soon there were so many people on the scene, and this includes a sometime manager of another strip club who listened to a police scanner as a hobby, which I didn't know anything about. I didn't know you could do this. So I liked what you mentioned, and I liked the photo you provided.
A lot of people might know this if they're listening, where you, back in these days, you could listen to this stuff. You can listen to fire department calls and stuff like that, and you still can in many fire departments. I don't think have completely adopted the newer technology, but police are mostly on private band now. Like, it's all like digital, so I don't think that this works as much.
Well, it was news to me. I was like, well, that's pretty cool. Why doesn't Australia get on board? But then again, I might be a bit...
But I think you can listen to... I'm going to look now on this Broadcastify. So I'm pretty sure you can listen anywhere in the world.
Oh, there you go. I was a bit ignorant about it. I had no idea.
No, it's kind of interesting. I mean, if you know something's going on in the world, I guess you can, fire it up and listen.
Yeah, that's so true. But that picture you posted is so 80s.
Yeah, isn't it? It's like there's like wood grain. It's pretty. It's the kind of thing you kind of want to have, but not really.
I think my grandparents had a radio that looked like that.
Maybe it was a scanner.
Oh, it could have been. Now you mention it.
I'm looking up police scanners in Australia. Yeah, like where are you again? Like what territory?
South Australia. So obviously, as it says, south of Australia. Down south.
No. New South Wales is the closest thing. I'm gonna do, here we go, South Australia. Let's see. I'm just gonna click it and see if we can hear something right now.
Cool.
Right. I'm just gonna let it play because maybe it doesn't always.
What if you could improve your relationships, make parenting or co-
There's a commercial. It says there's a brief 15 to 30 second commercial before the start of the feed. So I'm going to let that play.
Anyway, y'all entertain yourselves. No.
Tiny what?
Entertain yourselves while you wait.
Exactly.
1996.
Funding for this project was provided by the U.S. Department
This is the
of
only
Health and
commercial
Human
ever here on the
Services
show.
for children and
Oh my God. It's so annoying.
your recommendations.
It's still going on.
Sorry, guys. There is a purpose behind this.
Yeah, right. I don't know what it is, but all right. I'm going to leave it on in the background.
Okay.
And it'll just kind of kick on. This is like live right now in somewhere in Australia, in the South.
No way.
It's just buzzy. Like, I don't know. We'll just leave it.
It sounds like the old wireless internet broadband thing, trying to dial up the internet.
All right, we'll move on, and if we hear it, we'll stop.
Cool. All right. So,
there. All right. This is a
disaster.
Into number 59 from Station Officer Rosen, stop for assist SAS, codes have been sent. We're available, but we're required back at 22, over.
Can't understand a word they're saying.
Oh, there's a lot of, too much breath. You can hear them.
What do you mean?
Breathe. They're like, yeah. It's like...
All right, we'll stop that.
That is cool, though.
Yeah, I'll send you a link to it.
I should know that. There's been plenty of those, in movies. I'm a horror movie freak, and I should know, obviously. So I don't know. Sometimes I think just Australia is just a little behind. God love Aussies.
No, you guys have it all, and beaches.
Well, yeah. We do have some lovely beaches. Yes, and where I live in my state, we are known as the wine state, so we have some pretty good wine.
Oh, so there you go. You can't go wrong.
Apparently, it's second to none in the world, and I'm like, yeah, we're pretty good.
I've had Australian wine. I've had Australian red wine that is really good.
Oh yeah, exactly. It's amazing. So yeah, we've got some good little secret treasures here.
I'm just kidding.
Well.
Don't think so highly of your little country. I'm just kidding.
But it's all we have.
It's all we have. That is, and the beaches. All right. So going back to what all of this was going on.
The crime scene. Yes. So basically, the overall thing is that there were too many people there, and the police kind of allowed this. So anybody who was anyone was allowed to enter past the crime scene tape, which is ridiculous.
Yeah, crazy.
And the sheriff deputies stated that by the time they arrived, the scene was obviously contaminated, and they wanted no part of it. And the state police were also unwilling to help. So I think already poor Candy and Gloria are not getting any justice. They're not getting the crime scene properly, looked at. Anyway, we'll get to that. But yeah, basically they're already at a loss. Sorry, do you want to continue, or you want me to?
If you could continue, only because I'm looking for this gate still, and it's either one of two places, and right. I think it's this one. I think I found it. There's like a Pizza Hut there now. It's so typically American. There's a store called Gun and Knife Country. But it's like a strip mall with like a liquor store. It's like very typical of all the things that we're kind of talking about.
Right.
And
good job.
There is a Chinese food place here, but if you would have just run across the street, right past the Pizza Hut, there is this entrance that would bring you to where, I don't think it goes down there. Yeah, the Google map doesn't bring you onto the base, of course. But it does look like there's not a current gate there, but it definitely would have had a guard there.
Yes, there'd be some sort of barrier, yeah.
So, I don't know if it's definitely it, but it's 15199 Fort Campbell Boulevard, and I'll just put a link to that and maybe put a few screenshots. See if somebody can prove me wrong.
No, that's good. I mean, hey, if anyone's out there from Oak Grove, Kentucky or nearby, email us.
Where was it?
Yeah, we want to know. We were just curious.
Yeah. Please go on, because
sure.
My head is in the wrong place.
So obviously that was all in the early morning hours of September 20th, 1994. So by 8 a.m. approximately, it is learnt that sadly Candy Belt has died at a hospital in Nashville, where she was taken by helicopter, which is really sad. She did have an autopsy performed, and it was revealed that there was semen in both her vagina and her anal cavity, suggesting that she had been raped. Now, the reason
this is a tough thing. Yeah, all right. So go into why it's
So obviously that's really horrible.
Of course.
And I say raped because Tammy Papler was a stickler for rules. So she always ensured that her workers always used condoms. Whenever they did any services, it was always condoms. And it seemed implausible that the semen had come from an actual customer, because obviously there should be a condom worn. So that's
now, while
why
I agree with this, while I think that it would, if you feel the need to have to visit a sex worker, you should use proper protection to protect yourself and them for STDs. I would imagine that there would always be a certain clientele who would be willing to spend more money to not have to use this level of protection. And who would know?
That's quite true. We also don't know, though, if that was the case, whether they had to clear it with Tammy first.
But she would never know. She would just never know if they snuck her a few extra. I don't know. I'm basically saying that when we're put in a situation with sex workers, it's a dangerous situation. And I would imagine that these kind of things like shenanigans happen all the time.
Yes. I mean, it could even be the fact where, and I hate to say this, but just a customer getting rough and not liking the rule, and just basically...
It's totally possible. I would imagine this would be the perfect scenario for that.
Yes, with only 2 girls left there, early morning hours. They seem to be obviously very petite women. Mm-hmm. They probably didn't stand a chance. Which
maybe
is
if
so
you're
sad.
a cop and you have a gun on you.
Well, that too. Yes, absolutely, and obviously a gun and a knife, and evidently. So, yes. So now this is interesting as well. So,
so do you feel as though she was raped? Do you feel it, or do you what are you leaning towards?
I think, I mean, I could be wrong, but I think the way that they were killed was obviously really brutal. But I think there's only two scenarios. You've got a mad psycho that literally just wants to kill people, and there's like mental illness and just severely just gone off on for no apparent reason, or it's a crime of passion. When there's that much violence, they know the killer would know either the victims or the place, or wanted to get revenge on, you know, Tammy or whatever. So maybe because of that, they kind of threw caution to the wind and was just like, you know, got caught up in the moment. Oh, as wrong as it is, raped, you know, one of the girls, and just didn't even think about, you know, oh, let's take time to get a condom out.
Right, of course.
But, you know, obviously DNA was a bit different back then. Had it been now, obviously maybe they would have been like, we want to cover our tracks more. But then again, if it is a police officer, which, you know, some people speculate, they know how to cover it up. You know.
So there was no DNA in 1994?
Well, there was, I mean, so there
you
were.
think they would
I mean,
save it at least? Like, you would take a sample? So.
But remember, the crime scene was already compromised.
Oh, yes.
And
nobody,
and nobody seemed to care. No, so that's what I mean by Tammy and, Gloria and Candy were already at a disadvantage, because not only had several people stepped in there, touched things, probably touched the bodies, they, you know.
Not to mention it's a well-trafficked area. Like,
exactly.
People are in and out of this place constantly.
Exactly. So before we get to that, though, I will mention, and this is interesting that you asked this question too, Tammy, Papler, and the workers were instructed not to talk to authorities without an attorney present. Now, you said they were instructed to by who, and I actually couldn't find out by who.
Yeah,
I did
it's kind of an interesting thing.
I mean, maybe Tammy had her own lawyer. Or
totally possible.
Maybe a friend of hers said, look, just don't say anything to anyone. You know, it could be as simple as that. But
I do have one kind of interesting scenario. Let's say, for instance, Jimmy Joe goes in there and says he wants to have sex without a condom, right?
Yeah.
And he, you know, they do their business and his DNA is inside of her. Yeah. Now, if they were to trace his DNA to him, even though he left, you know, a half hour ago, has nothing to do with the crime, would he be brought up as the murderer?
I guess, you know what?
Just because Tammy says that they have to use condoms?
Maybe not. Maybe not. I mean, I guess once you try and, obviously, if the police were doing their jobs, they would want to investigate this person and eliminate them as a suspect. What is, you know, innocent until proven guilty.
Yeah.
So they want to obviously do their jobs and say, question this person. And then he says, no, we did have sex. I paid a little bit more for the non-condom use. I was with this person, but I left at this time. And my friends can corroborate because I was at a bar with them soon after or something. And then they go, okay, yeah, your alibi is cleared or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
You know, on to the next person. And so, yeah, she might not have even been raped. In fact, she could have been killed by literally someone that just come in and just killed them without the rape.
And also, we don't hear anything about, like, scratch marks or bites or fights. We hear nothing about this stuff.
I'm going to say something a little bit disgusting, though. Sorry.
I'm used to it.
They could have been dying or dead at the time when they were... Candy could have been violated. Like, obviously, she was still alive.
I see what you're saying.
She wouldn't be able to fight back because she's obviously been shot in the head and stabbed. So she's trying to breathe, but she's at the same time being violated. You
definitely took it to a far darker place. But it's totally possible.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
I mean,
sorry,
if you're going to be like stabbing people to death and shooting them in the head, I mean, you're possibly capable of doing many of these things.
Yes, which I would hate. I hope that's not the case because, you know, it's not only were they...
It's somehow worse. It makes everything somehow worse.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I mean, they were just... The poor girls just had no chance. They just, you know, all dignity taken from them. Their lives taken. It's just absolutely terrible.
But within days, we reopen.
Yeah,
I mean,
yes. So,
I'm laughing because it's like, what? Are you serious?
Oh, so now, having said that, though, I know we say that the crime scene was obviously compromised, but they did process the crime scene. I'm going to say processed like loosely. Bullets and stray hairs were collected. I mean, they could have been stray hairs from the people that had walked in and out. They were collected and objects in the lobby were scanned for fingerprints unsuccessfully. The carpets were soaked in blood, as you would imagine, from the attack and had to be ripped out, and the floors needed to be cleaned. And like we said, but within days, and obviously the killer still not caught, Tammy Papler reopened the massage parlor.
Now, let me ask you, when they reopened, do you think it was a busy day?
You know what? Probably.
All right, I'm going to be the one to say it. Men are horrible.
Yeah.
Like, I don't understand this culture of people going to prostitutes. But especially when a murder has occurred.
I mean, I even felt like sad when I was in Strawberry Fields in Central Park, even though John Lennon was, obviously not shot in that park. He was shot in front of the Dakota building, but
that's where his ashes were spread.
Yeah, exactly. And you think, I feel creepy and sad. Like, why would you? I mean, as much as you take photos and you appreciate what the Yoko Ono's work doing that.
I have to interrupt you to bring up something crazy. Okay.
Yes, go ahead.
While researching the Bordello murders, just maybe 3 days ago, I stopped in the middle, and I went down this complete rabbit hole of John Lennon's death.
Oh.
Yeah, like how crazy is that? And you just brought him up.
That is weird. We're on the same wavelength.
Yeah, I think so. And all of this stuff, like right down to John Lennon, like 10 years prior, somebody predicted the death from a Ouija board.
Oh, did you hear what he said in an interview once?
I did hear him say something about an interview with which thing. I've read so many things.
He said, so the interviewer asked how he, if he could predict his death, how would he go out? And he thought about it for a moment and he said, I probably will be popped off by some loony.
Mm-hmm. Yep. I did hear him say that.
And I went, oh my goodness. Oh, truth, a statement you could not say.
But I was listening to some interview with, oh my God, who shot him? What was the name of?
Oh my gosh. Catcher in the Rye guy.
Yeah. Yeah.
David Chapman?
Yeah. David something Chapman. And
yeah,
he, there's an interview of him talking about the shooting,
Oh, you know what? If they ever let him out, I don't think he'd survive one day on the street. I think he'd just be killed. This is John Lennon we're talking about.
Yeah. It's just crazy. But they do have him talking about what happened, which is crazy.
Oh,
that's why we don't trust Hawaiians in New York. He was from Hawaii of all places.
Yes,
it's strange.
he was.
All right, this is not the John Lennon thing, but it is strange that you brought it up.
R.I.P. John. R.I.P. John. Yes.
Yeah, but it's just interesting that you would bring that up. But yeah, Strawberry Fields forever.
Crazy. That is crazy. But so back to Tammy reopening the parlor so very soon. We're going to guess it is a busy day. Unfortunately, men will just be like, someone died in there. Okay, well, what can I get out of you women today?
Right.
I hate to say.
20% off, maybe? I don't know.
Yes. Half price for today only.
Oh.
So what was weird, though, is obviously Tammy in the segment seemed quite invested in finding out who killed her girls, and yet she may have contaminated the scene even more by reopening so quickly. But then again, the detectives did a crap job on processing the crime scene, so they probably just maybe did it for half an hour and thought, that's good enough. You're fine to reopen in 2 days or whatever, And maybe I hate to say it, but maybe she obviously felt she had no option. She could have been threatened by the police to reopen, go back to normal. Maybe she had to for financial reasons. Maybe she just wanted to kind of keep things going and,
Well, I guess, at the same time, if the place is closed, all the other girls are not making money.
Yes. Yes. That's
I don't know.
So true.
People have definitely strange reasons, for doing things. I'm not totally judging them. I'm just saying,
yes.
Let the, a few more days maybe.
Yeah.
Now, you mentioned that the sheriff's department immediately thought that Ed was guilty, and
yes.
wondering if that they wanted to shift the blame from them to Ed. But I don't know. I felt as though Ed was completely, there was so much evidence to kind of support that Ed would be the person. What are your thoughts there?
I mean, I have to say, when I first saw the segment without doing any other research, I remember the first time I actually watched it, like you said, it really did sway his way. It really, I thought, yes, he must have. I mean, he had that incident with Tammy Papler with the money. He was there all the time. He's a police officer. He had the run of the mill.
The girls didn't like him.
The girls didn't like him. He was a cheater. He was not saying every cheater kills people, but what I'm saying is he just had obviously some low morals. And also the way that the girls were killed, it's obviously a crime of passion. So it's got to be, you'd think, unless it's a crazy maniac, someone who knew the place and wanted revenge. And whoever was there was there. Like, Gloria and Candy probably weren't like set to be killed. It probably wasn't them. It was probably whoever was there at the time. It could have been 5 girls there. It could have been 1, But
all the evidence is really pointing at him. He had a key. He had a key. He went at 2 a.m.
Yep. So you can continue if you like.
I mean, just basically, the other things that we learn is that the weapon that was used was a .22 revolver, a small handgun, which he claimed to not have this kind of handgun. But his wife, his ex-wife, or separated wife, states that, actually he does have a gun just like that, but it's been missing.
Yes, she said in the segment she hadn't seen it since the Christmas before the crime, so that would make it, December of 1993.
But he did have a claim that he left New Life at 2 a.m. to go and meet up with an occasional lover, unnamed, right? I mean, why not bring that person in? I'm sure they did. We don't get that information.
Yes, we don't know. But what a nice guy.
And got home, I know, right? You're a married man, and it's like, I'm just stopping by at my mistress's house. And got home, I think he meant 3 a.m. before the murders.
Yes.
Which I'm sure his wife, I mean, was he living with his wife at this point? I'm so confused.
Yeah, so what I took from it was at that time they're actually still married, and Carter's wife, Carol Moore, obviously disputes his claims. Now, I don't know if she was actually interviewed right after the murders and, in the subsequent investigations, but in the segment it said Carter and his wife have now gone through a divorce. So obviously this was 97 when it came out. So you think, she filed for divorce after she filed a domestic violence claim. So she could have been on his side initially, but maybe she wasn't questioned initially. And then when they got a divorce and because of the domestic claims, she could, out of spite, I'm just speculating here, say, actually, he did have a gun, but it was missing. Actually, he actually didn't get home till 4.
Right.
Actually, but then we don't know. But my point is, she then said, I remember him getting home a little bit after 4 because I rolled over and looked at the clock. What
are people doing at 4 a.m.? I mean, what's open?
I don't know about you, but I'm sleeping.
But what's open in town, you think?
I laughed. I really laughed. So Carol actually said to Carter, the only thing open at this time of night are legs.
I have to remember that one.
Yes.
And but we're laughing and it's funny, but it's like, oh my God, what a terrible, terrible thing to have happened to anybody.
Oh, absolutely. Yes. And, but yeah, so we don't know, like we said, Carter's wife could initially be maybe agreeing with him because they were still together. And then years later said, actually, he abused me. He's actually not who he says he is. And I'm saying all this against him now. But that it could very well be the truth. So we don't know.
Now, Unsolved Mystery says he took a polygraph.
Yes.
About that night, and they didn't say anything. They were like undetermined.
Yes. So,
what's the deal with that? I mean, it's almost as though Unsolved Mysteries is trying to protect him a little bit on this sense, or maybe they just didn't have confirmation.
I think they were trying to play it neutral, but it was almost impossible to do so because, like I said, the first time I watched, I clearly pointed my finger. But what made me also laugh was when I can't remember exactly who was talking, but they were talking about Carter's lie detector test. And he said, I'm sort of paraphrasing here, he said, I can't tell you whether or not he passed or failed. The only thing I can tell you is that he did resign from the police department shortly after and he left
Right.
city.
So he failed.
So he's not saying he failed, but AKA he failed.
Right. That's what you would do if you failed.
Yeah. Exactly. I mean, he's not going to be completely innocent and then kind of resign and move unless, there was a real good reason, like, I don't know, another reason. But anyway, going back a little bit, this is not mentioned in the segment, but I've sort of researched afterwards. Another thing that sort of made Ed Carter look very, very guilty was after returning home around 4 when his wife claimed, he got a phone call informing him of the homicide. And when he arrived at the crime scene, he acted very strangely. One patrolman who was working that night said, I thought it was very unusual. He normally, when something happened and Officer Carter arrived, he'd come charging into whatever was going on. He'd, want to be a part of it. But apparently he was just off to the side with his dog tied up with a leash and just kind of watching everything unfold. And he just acted very strange. And then, of course, he did, flunk the test.
Right. So, yeah, I mean, it's very interesting that all of a sudden he's so reserved and, I'll just be over here. Not very much like him.
No. And, yeah, I think he's obviously not a good liar because not that I believe really, and you know how I feel about lie detectors, but
yeah, we both agree that they're kind of ridiculous. I don't understand.
Yeah, it's sort of the same as a bit of hypnosis thing. I'm not really that fond of, but yeah, I feel like he should have done better because just act yourself. Just do what you do in any other case. If you're guilty, do what you do in any other case. That way, no suspicion is drawn to you.
Now, Leslie Duncan comes back into this situation, and we learn that deputies didn't trust him. They concluded that Duncan had destroyed evidence to help Ed Carter. Duncan, of course, being, if you remember from a while ago, the old roommate of Ed Carter.
Yes.
But they basically said that the entire situation lacked enough evidence to convict either Duncan or Carter. So it's just really kind of bloop.
It's a bit, yes. So that was the DA, the district attorney, John Atkins, said there wasn't enough evidence. Now, I added a little extra here that
that's interesting.
Yeah, so I found out he's now a judge. So went from DA to be a judge. And he claims he doesn't remember finding enough, like claiming that there was a lack of evidence. And there's no documents to proving that, that happened and they dismissed everything, So that's very shady in my opinion.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it's a very questionable little situation right there. But the newspapers didn't report that Carter was a suspect at the time, but they did report that he'd worked at New Life. It created enough pressure to force his resignation. The police offered a $1,000 reward. Tammy came up with $5,000 herself for the arrest of the killer. And investigators received a lot of calls. And later on, we learned that they supposedly follow up on all of the leads, but nothing helped close the case.
Yes, that's right. And that November...
I'm making you read all the gross stuff the next thing.
Yeah, thanks for that. Great. No, that's all right.
Make the Aussie do it.
Yeah. So that November, so about 2 months after the crime, the Oak Grove police set out to close the brothel for good, which I have to say, I wonder why. Well, not why. I mean, obviously the murders, but did they want to close it because they felt people were getting too close? Or, if they had something to do with it, were they worried that maybe they were going to be found out? Or did they
maybe she wasn't paying money? Like, what is the real issue?
Yeah, probably the money, probably the payments. But anyway, so they did a thorough investigation of the actual property, including the sewer pump, and found it was crammed with condoms that had been flushed down the toilet.
Gross.
That's a nice image. And Tammy Papler was charged with promoting prostitution. Now, I agree. I think it's because she'd stopped paying. She pleaded down to misdemeanor charges to avoid prison time and then concentrated on running her adult video store.
Oh, did you know the name of the video store? I didn't write it down. I forgot to.
No. Did you know what it was?
Yeah, it's Cherry Video.
Cherry Video.
But it was an adult video store.
Right. And but eventually she left the area. I found out she actually changed her name. I don't actually know what her name is now, obviously, or I didn't say. And then she left the area, but obviously still wants to find out who killed the girls. And after Ed Carter's divorce, he obviously left town. He moved to Louisville, where he found a security gig at the airport. And then a year later, Leslie Duncan also voluntarily resigned from his role as the detective.
Mm-hmm.
So,
yeah, this is all very crazy. It's all this like crazy this and that, and it was such like a simple situation, and it became so complex. You know, somebody just really lucked out by not getting caught.
Yeah, and there's so much backstory. There's so much, like you said, the more research we tried to do, the more we found.
Yeah, we kept adding pages and pages. Holy cow. Like, I'm even looking now, I'm like, we didn't even get up to the other woman. I'm looking for her name.
Yeah, we're just getting there now. Patty Ballou.
Yeah, Patty Ballou. Patty
We're
Ballou,
just getting to it now.
who used to work at the New Life.
Yeah. So, 3 years after the murders, on July 15th, 1997, so I'm guessing this is before Tammy Papler actually moved away, but she went to the city council about her suspicions about, well, not even, I wouldn't say suspicions, but basically about the corruption.
Mm-hmm.
She feared that the case would remain unsolved because the victims were prostitutes.
And she's probably right.
Well, yeah, it's a big part of it. I hate to say it. It's the world oldest profession, but it's obviously not respected.
Right.
Tammy claimed that Ed Carter was responsible for the infamous murders, and she also accused Leslie Duncan and the authorities of intentionally covering it up. And she wanted it to be investigated. She mentioned all the payments that she gave to the police under duress, the sexual favors and paying out of her own pocket, the bribes, and Carter's failed polygraph. And Mark, would you like to talk about Patty Ballou?
Yeah, so one of the council member, Patty Ballou, who used to work at the New Life, as we mentioned. Now, I think that it was pulled out of her. I think some people knew about this, but we're not really sure. And I think I might have found her on Facebook. I'm not 100% sure about that. But
really?
Yeah, it's actually, if you scroll up, it's the last link in our sources.
Oh, no way.
I don't know. It looks like her, I would imagine she would probably be in her mid-40s, and it kind of looks like her. So,
it's her.
Yeah, you think so?
It's definitely her, without a doubt. Good job.
Thanks. So she basically, she kind of came out, and I lost my spot. I'm sorry. So she used to work there, and she was listening to the claims. The council already knew about Patty's past, allegedly, and she confirmed that Tammy's claims are true. It's pretty nice that Patty Ballou was willing to stand up for Tammy, but
yes, yeah.
But according to the Washington Post, the WAPO, Tammy pushed a member of the town council to reveal that she once worked at Papler's house of ill repute as a prostitute. So, I don't know. Maybe it was a push, maybe a pull. Nonetheless, but the thing is that Patty Ballou married a wealthy local family and then got her real estate license. Patty Ballou is currently engaged, if you look on Facebook, by the way.
Yes, I did see that.
So that's kind of, I don't know. I don't know if that's definitely her, but I think it is. So, I don't know. Maybe things just didn't work out with the wealthy local family. Unfortunately.
Maybe not, but it certainly seemed to be on her side then. But if you actually watch the segment, like I said, I'm glad that she was able to, if you will, stand up for Tammy and back her with what happened. But she kind of really still seemed reluctant to admit that she worked there. I just got a little bit of a vibe from her when they were interviewing her. She goes, "Oh, the reason I know that is because I used to work there," and obviously, she was the lady that was known as Harley, and she confirmed everything, that the police officers were there all the time, and they knew the ins and the outs of the place.
But Patty was even threatened with impeachment for bringing this all up.
Yes.
And I just think that's kind of crazy. It shows the level of how far the corruption is really going in this little town.
Yeah, all the way to the city clerk and everything. Like, it was just, again, good for her for trying to push it further, because I mean, but when they screw up, they cover up. So, yeah.
But a sheriff's deputy fueled the media interest in 1997 by confirming that Carter and Duncan had been, quote, suspects all along.
Which, I think
easy to say. I mean, I think you'd have to be a dope to not think they were suspects.
Exactly. Like I said, without any other research, watching that segment, I'm like, oh, that's
and
just
of
easy.
Course, Ed Carter does not show his face in the Unsolved Mystery story.
His lawyer does, though. It's funny. He goes, Mr. Carter's never run. He's never left the area. He's never fled the area. And then what does he do? Fail a polygraph and leaves the area. Right.
It's nothing really reeks of being guilty more than having your attorney speak for you. I'm sorry.
Yeah. No, a bit of a coward.
But so the status is right now that the entire situation is it's an unsolved crime. Murder.
Yes, unfortunately. So basically, if you want to go a bit further into it, 2006, so 12 years later, the Kentucky State Police took over the case finally, because initially they said they didn't want anything to do with it, and they began a new investigation, which is good. In July 2012, Leslie Duncan was arrested for tampering with evidence in the case. Now, he did plead guilty, but he claimed he actually mishandled the crime scene, but he denied having actually maliciously destroyed evidence. So he's basically saying it was an accident. And he was given a 3-year sentence, which basically accounted for time already served. So,
now, I'm assuming that he would also lose his standing as an officer if this were to happen.
I would hope so. I'm sorry, but please. Otherwise, there's no hope for anyone.
Right. It's all very strange. In November 2013, Ed Carter and a man named Frank Black, a new character in this whole crazy mess, were also arrested and charged with the murders. Duncan was charged with 2 counts of complicity to murder. The basic theory was that Carter and Frank Black had killed the women together, and Duncan had intentionally covered it up. But there was no explanation of Black's connection to the others or any suggestion of a possible motive. Black was not a police officer, however. However, he was convicted of an attempted rape in December of 1995. The rape occurred one night after the murders. In that case, he used a knife similar to the one used to kill the victims. He also lived close to Oak Grove and was believed to have been a customer at the massage parlor, like most of the people in the town. I would say, and as you stated, definitely a suspect. Especially with that rape, Yeah.
Well, I did kind of assume, like we said before, that she was raped, but then again, we don't really know. Like we said, it could have been a customer that obviously paid to not use a condom, then left, and it had nothing to do with the murder. But then there's also the possibility of the other thing I mentioned, that she was, obviously. And so it's someone that you have to look into, and especially with, the rape the night after, the same sort of knife, living where he lived, having been a customer. If you don't at least investigate him, then there's something's definitely off there.
Now this brings you to a rabbit hole and I found this fascinating. And this is a list of suspects that no one mentioned in the Unsolved Mysteries
I got really
segments.
excited when I saw this. I was like, oh my God, Mark, I can't wait to tell you.
Yeah, I was reading through it, and the first name on your list is Ryan Ross. You want to talk about who Ryan Ross is?
Yes, Ryan Ross. So this man was Gloria's husband. Who,
the 18-year-old.
What was that, sorry?
The 18-year-old.
Yes, the 18-year-old. Yes, you're right. Sorry, yes. 18-year-old who had, Ryan Ross was Gloria's husband, who had been a Fort Campbell soldier at the time of the murders. Now, Carter's attorney, Brandy Jones, that's his name, worked out sort of his story when he was cross-examined in the trial. So Ryan Ross and Gloria had 2 young children, almost no money, and fought all the time.
I mean, they were just married, I thought.
Yeah, yes. And Ryan reportedly helped Gloria get a job at the strip club, then at New Life Massage Parlor. And he seemed very possessive because he always held on to Gloria's key to the parlor. And this is what you mentioned before. Why would Gloria have keys to the parlor? She was only new. Yeah. But maybe her and Candy, maybe they did a lot of late night shifts. So maybe they were the ones to lock up. Yeah, could be. I mean, maybe that's why she didn't want to change the locks, because it gives too many people all these new keys. You have to destroy the old ones, and
Yeah, you have to go make new ones. Yeah, maybe.
a little bit lazy, but still. Yeah,
No,
you just now
I
you
also
assume
I don't want to judge anyone because money is money and people have to work. But it is kind of interesting that Ryan helped Gloria get into this business, to work at a strip club and then at New Life.
Well, I'm guessing they were desperate for money.
Yeah,
and, like we said, not many job opportunities where they were. I mean, he obviously had to be at the base.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if they had a bit more money, she could be a stay-at-home mom, obviously, because she just had another baby.
I just wonder who was watching the kid. Maybe it was him?
No idea. I mean, maybe... Oh, I don't know.
I guess it could have been him, right?
It could have been. Well, maybe her mum was... Oh, no, hang on. We get to her mum, don't we?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. It's just scary to know those children, the poor children. So the investigators believed that Ryan Ross had twice tried to hire a private investigator to follow Gloria around. So we obviously didn't trust her.
And you also have money for that.
Yeah, he seems kind of scary. He suspected that she was actually having an affair with Candy Belt. And he allegedly told the private investigator that if his wife turned out to be a lesbian, he might kill her.
Yeah, like this is a very, very strange situation all of a sudden. I mean, we have this Fort Campbell soldier who is wondering if his wife is secretly a lesbian.
Yeah.
And that would make you feel...
Yeah, I mean, that would obviously... Well, it wouldn't make you feel great, but, to say is go as far as, oh, I'm going to kill you for being who you are, honestly.
It's just crazy. The whole thing is like, it's nuts that he has a private investigator following her, for one.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe, I'm just saying, if you're this jealous of a person, right, maybe don't encourage her to work in a strip club or or be a prostitute.
That's rule number one.
I mean, you might be a little bit jealous if you find out, that she's having sex with these men.
No, exactly. I just don't.
It's just a very
but then again,
thing.
maybe his lust for money was bigger than his jealousy. Who knows?
And I have no issue with people who are in the sex trade.
Oh yeah,
I'm sure you don't either. It's just a matter of, I don't think that it's for people with a thin skin.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. I totally agree. And also there's another little bit here. Days before Gloria was murdered, her mother actually had called Ryan, and she claimed that Gloria was about to leave him and move back to Florida, bringing their children and a friend along. Now, we don't know who the friend is. The friend could have been a new guy. It could have been a customer at the parlor. It could have been, I don't even know, Candy Belt. We don't know. And then finally, a neighbor told investigators in 1994 that he remembered Ryan leaving his trailer at almost exactly the same time the two women were killed.
Which is BS. Like, I don't buy that.
How credible is this witness? I mean, eyewitness
accounts.
How do
you know? Like, it's like 3 a.m. or something.
Yeah. Number one, what do you do? I mean, I don't know, it's a trailer park. Maybe he just couldn't sleep and he happened to get up. And why would you even remember that? Why would you say, okay, the murders happened at this time. Oh my goodness, I think I saw this person leave at that time. They could have, I don't know, gone to get a beer or something. I don't know. Whatever's open.
But Ryan was questioned in the initial investigation, but he also failed the polygraph, which to me just means nothing.
Exactly. Yeah.
I mean, you're being questioned about your dead wife. You might be upset. You might have in the back of your head, like, do they think I did this?
Yeah. I mean, being questioned by the police, I would assume would be, I mean, I never had it happen, but I would assume it would be pretty scary, even if you are innocent. You'd kind of, and then you'd wonder, people just get nervous. They stutter, they sweat,
I thought that the line that you wrote, one detective noted that Ryan said he was upset about losing the income Gloria had brought home. Maybe. Yeah. I mean, maybe he's not the most upset over that, but I'm sure that he was thinking, what am I going to do?
Yeah, with 2 kids, being a soldier, and now having no wife and less money. And I mean... But I mean, I guess, why would you kill your wife? I guess, again, it is a crime of passion, but why would you kill your wife and be like, oh, whoops, I forgot about the money.
Now this is what I thought was interesting. The investigators didn't ask him for a DNA sample or ever follow up with him again. So now we're asking for DNA samples?
Yeah, where did it come from? Yeah.
But it's kind of like we have DNA from, the semen.
Yep.
Why are we not taking those as samples? I don't get it. Like, I don't understand. I mean, that's not mismanaged. I mean, that's like during the autopsy, they are able to gather that DNA.
Yeah, I mean, they should have. I mean, I didn't read that they did, but they definitely should have. I don't care how long
Maybe
ago
they
it
did.
was.
Is it possible they did and it's on a waiting list? Hopefully.
Yeah, I hope so. I hope so. Because it definitely should have been. That's what they do. So, and also when questioned, Ryan always states, even to this day, apparently, quote, "I didn't kill my wife. I'll take it to my grave," end quote.
Yeah, I mean, when I hear that, at first I was like, oh, what the hell does that mean? But then I was thinking maybe he meant I didn't kill my wife, and he's never going to change what he has to say about that. Like, kind of like, I'll always say that until I'm dead.
Yeah, I think that's what he meant. But I mean, when I first read it, I think take what with you to the grave if actually you know something. Like, that sounds a bit dodgy. But then I realized, yeah, he probably meant that's all I have to say. That's what I'll say until the day I die.
Yeah, but then there's James Stephen Henson, who worked at an appliance distributor in Hopkinsville in 1994. After the murders, his girlfriend Teresa Abbott, who is currently deceased, called the sheriff's department and said that she believed Henson was the killer, listing several reasons why. The detectives never interviewed Abbott in person, and that's it. Like, why wouldn't they? Well, I mean, this sounds kind of interesting.
Yeah, if they said they followed up all leads and from phone calls, that was obviously a major one.
I mean, even if it was like a nowhere type of situation, at least follow up. She said she found receipts showing that he had bought a membership at New Life in January 1994. And I kind of questioned, like, membership? Like, they had a real organization going on. I mean, like, do you think it was like a monthly membership you would get at New Life?
I'm sorry, I shouldn't really say this. It's probably in poor taste, but I think about, like, what is it when you buy 10, you get one free? Like, I just had to laugh. It's like coffee.
Jesus Christ.
I'm so sorry. I just
You know that they had it, but I'm telling you, I guarantee they had that. It's like, hey, the 8th one's on us, Oh my God. And I'm kind of wondering, how much is this monthly fee and what do you get?
Yeah. You get a keychain.
I mean, in the States, we have car washes that you can pay monthly, and you can get as many car washes as you want.
Oh, what a good idea. I don't think we have it here, although I could be wrong. Maybe they do in Sydney and places like that, but I don't think they do in Adelaide.
But, I mean, you can go every day. I don't know.
Yeah, that was some form of obsession, but yeah, why not?
Yeah, I don't know. It's like unlimited visits. I'm not really sure what New Life. But anyway, back to the thing. She, quote, "I asked if he had gone there. He admitted that he had gone there, and it was not what I think."
Right.
It never is, right?
He just wanted the keychain, I told you.
He's just your typical guy. She hadn't seen him between 10 p.m. on the night of the murders or until 9:30 the following night. She also claimed that he had been carrying a Nike bag containing a knife, a gun, and a pair of gym shorts. These people in this town are crazy. The statement continues, "After I asked him, he admitted that he had killed them with no reaction, a non-caring attitude. Later, it was that he had killed them with a gun and a knife, chuckling at me. Henson had always cleaned his car by hand, but that weekend he took it to the car wash." Maybe he had a membership there too.
Maybe he did. But, if you're seen hosing out your back, the boot, or, vacuuming it out like crazy, and, that's... I'd look into that. Yeah,
it definitely. During the testimonies, Tammy Sneed and Millie Burns, who's another worker that worked the night of the murders, I guess earlier in the night, they remembered a man that they didn't know sitting in the parlor lobby. He declined sexual services, and from the way he stared into the distance, Burns thought he must be on something. Like, what kind of people are hanging out here? It's like, look, you don't want the services? Get out. They described his appearance as dark hair, mustache, wearing a T-shirt, and an Alabama hat. And I got a picture of Alabama, the band Alabama.
Yeah.
And that's the kind of what I'm hoping he was wearing. Not like
Never know.
not like the football thing, or Alabama State or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm hoping it's the band Alabama.
It's pretty cool hat. That's a pretty cool hat.
Yeah. I wouldn't wear it, but I mean,
let's say he was. We'll go with that.
One thought he might be Mexican. They were shown a photo of James Stephen Henson. They confirmed that he looked like the unknown man in the parlor that night, but they never followed up on this. This is the best lead.
Exactly. Yeah, I mean.
But you mentioned, what is the motive if sex wasn't involved?
Yeah,
Maybe he's just tripping on angel dust or something.
Exactly. Well, that's what I mean. I said, when I say they were killed with such brutality, obviously one would go, oh, it's a crime of passion. He was obviously someone who was connected. But I think, maybe he was just really high on drugs and just went into a frenzy and, had mental illness or something and just went completely, out of it and then just killed.
And are we determining that it's more than one? All right, this is where I'm going to mention something gross. So we learned that there was semen in the anal canal and in the vagina. Was it two different semen?
Yeah.
We don't know. There's no info.
Exactly.
Because if it is two, maybe that actually is a sex worker type of thing with the condom, removing the condom. Or, if it's the same person, I don't know.
Yeah, exactly. I just wish there was more information about them doing,
maybe there was more people,
Yeah, could have been. That's what they thought maybe Frank Black and Ed Carter had done it, killed them both, and then obviously Leslie Duncan covered it up. So maybe they were thinking that it wasn't just one killer, it was maybe more. So, but I just would like peace of mind to know that they at least took some samples from Candy's autopsy and, it still is lying somewhere ready to be tested. If they didn't, that's completely, just wrong.
But Carter, Duncan, and Black were all tried beginning on September 6th, 2016. This is right around the block from where we are right now, right? Crazy. Charges against Duncan were dismissed mid-trial by the judge, and you point out, I didn't know this, it's a rarity for a double homicide case for it to be dismissed.
Yes, just something that's not really done. I've watched enough Law and Order to know that. But
I have to get back into it.
Yeah, I love that show. Benson and Stabler forever. Actually, that's Law and Order SVU, but anyway.
Sorry.
Yeah, so no, that's okay. So it was dismissed. And so you want to say the next line, which always annoys me? I'll get you to say it because I'll get angry.
About the trial? The trial concluded on September 14th, 2016 with a verdict of not guilty for Carter and Black. The jury only deliberated for less than 2 hours. Jurors noted that the prosecution was never able to link Carter to Black. Also, no physical evidence directly linked them to the crime scene. Furthermore, DNA evidence found on one of the victims did not match any of the three men. However...
so they did do tests.
But did they?
I don't know. Couldn't find any.
Because now it's evidence found on one of the victims.
Which could be anybody.
Did not match any of the three men. However, prosecutors claim the DNA must have come from one of her customers that night. But as you point out, Tammy's like, no. We use condoms in this. Like, she has a sign in the front, like, must use condoms. I don't know. The whole thing is crazy, but Tammy Papler has moved away. She changed her name, and she states, quote, I hope that justice will be served. I hope they clean up the corruption and start the town anew. But most of all, I want Gloria and Candy to know that we fought for them, and we are going to see justice is served for them. Many of Oak Grove townsfolk still believe that crooked cops got away with it.
Yep. And officially, as of 2022, the murders remain unsolved.
That's it. That's where we are. Poor Gloria and Candy never got the justice that they deserved.
No. And now their children, obviously, they'd be, adults now, and you just...
Also, was money stolen? Like, there's so many things that I have questions about.
Oh, yeah. And so many things. We both did a lot of research, and those things I just could not find.
Were they robbed? They must have had their own personal like pocketbooks and that kind of thing was, I don't know. We just
and
don't
also,
know.
was the money and that hidden? And if it was, would Ed Carter have known where it was? Because he had his hands all in Tammy's money.
Did Tammy change the locks after this?
I would have hoped so, but I guess they shut it down. So I guess.
But she was open for a little while.
Yeah, she was open. Yeah, a couple more months.
But then they would, people would just visit Mona's Go-Go or Cat West, Classic Touch, Tipper's Dance Club, Donna's Den, Fantasy Lingerie.
Yes, and then of course they can go to the Cherry Video Store too.
Bum bum bum.
Yes, and that is Oak Grove, Kentucky, folks.
Yeah, that's I like the idea of moving down to Tennessee one of these days, but this gives me a different view of the area. But I think that it's a real shame that this happened, but it's an unfortunate, I guess, reality for sex workers that they put themselves in these situations sometimes with men who are out of control.
And it's just, what I do like take from this case is, number one, it's obviously terribly tragic for the families and obviously for the victims. But what I liked about it was that Tammy Papler and obviously others, they kind of got behind each other and said, no, we want to expose the corruption. Here's some proof. Mm-hmm. Obviously, we don't, obviously it didn't go the way that we really wanted it to. At least they were charged. I know they were found not guilty, which annoys me, but then again, each of their own opinion. But yeah, I think that there was a lot of information about the corruption, which I'm glad it's out there. And I hope one day that they do get justice. I hope one day that they do find out what really happened and who was responsible, because yeah, they just didn't get justice. So it's very sad.
And now I forget what it's called, but it's where DNA is matched with relatives.
Yes, that's a new thing. Yeah. Yeah. So I guess you could find out from the children giving samples and.
Yeah. If they're, cousins or brothers, sisters, it's only a matter of time before if this stuff is in a database where we'll get more matches.
I hope it is. I just wish they'd given me more information about them processing the scene and what they got and what they took with them as evidence, but I guess that's one thing that we won't know.
Well, Laura, it looks as though we've made it to the end of this episode.
It was a long episode. It was a long episode,
but we went down some crazy rabbit holes. I think this was a 10-minute Unsolved Mysteries segment, and we've hit it almost the 2-hour mark. So
we have done well.
Yeah, I thought so. I thought we touched upon a lot of things that just was not covered at all. And how could it be by Unsolved Mysteries? Yeah. But as always, thank you so much for doing this. It was I learned so much in this case, and thank you so much for the hard work that you put into this.
Oh, no problem. And well done with your research as well. I always love coming on here to discuss our favorite shows. So pleasure. Yeah, and we're working on some other stuff for the future. Snowtown. Yes. Oh, I'm so excited. Yeah. Well, not about the crimes itself, but getting I'm anxious crimes out there. I'm anxious to learn more about Snowtown and how close it is to you physically and through the people that you're related to. Yes. But also I'm interested in choosing another Unsolved Mysteries case for us to jump into. Tonight we have been confronted with an entire catalog of unexplained and unsolved events. Tune in next time as Unsolved Mysteries Rewind discusses another collection of unsolved mysteries. Until then, we can only look and wonder.